Martin Hacker's appointment follows recommendations by the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, which concluded its inquiries into Jammeh-era abuses. The commission called for criminal accountability and reparations. The cases will be prosecuted before the High Court in Banjul, while significant and cross-border crimes will be referred to the ECOWAS Special Tribunal for the Gambia. Some perpetrators have already been convicted abroad under the principle of universal jurisdiction in Germany and U.S.
The world's first facility for permanently disposing of spent nuclear fuel set to begin operations in Finland. Townhall.com. Search for victims underway at the scene of a deadly construction site accident in Pennsylvania.
Officials say one person is dead, 2 others are missing after a parking garage under construction in Philadelphia collapsed Wednesday afternoon. Mayor Sherelle Parker said part of a roof of the garage fell and triggered a progressive collapse of connected sections across all 7 levels. Crews rescued 3 people, one who later died at a hospital. Philadelphia Fire Commissioner Jerry Thompson says the building is unstable and must be taken apart in order to search the entire structure. I'm Donna Warder.
At their March policy meeting, more Federal Reserve policymakers indicated a willingness to consider an interest rate hike this year as higher gas prices threaten to aggravate inflation. That is insight from the newly released minutes of the Fed's meeting last month. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning, and welcome to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are indeed broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. In studio with me this very morning, the one, the only, the original all-star panelist, Crom Carmichael. Good morning, Crom.
Greetings, kind sir.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
You bet.
Well, it's quite a day. It's a busy day. It's time, Crom, for the Morning Rundown, which is brought to you every weekday at this time by our friends at the Glock Store. The Glock Store, located just a few miles from the airport, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Here we go. Here's the Morning Rundown for Thursday, April 9th, 2026. Number 1, the, quote, fragile, end quote, ceasefire between the United States and Iran that was announced on Tuesday night doesn't seem to be a ceasefire at all. A, the Strait of Hormuz closed. Israel attacked Lebanon. And C, reports that Iran continued to bomb Israel and the Gulf states for a period of time. May still be bombing them. I don't know. I've got to double check. What's the latest today? Number 2, peace negotiations on a final agreement, quote, final agreement. That was a phrase used by President Trump this morning on a social media post. It's scheduled for tomorrow in Pakistan. J.D. Vance, the vice president, Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff will all be there. Number 3, this is a very weird story. It's in the Nashville Banner, the left-wing millionaire-funded Nashville Banner. Has a proselytizing story about how peaceful Islam is. And it's couched as a story about Muslim students at a Nashville public high school, Overton High School, and how they were, suffering during their fast in Ramadan, and how Metro Nashville authorities have made it easy for them to observe Ramadan by, number 1, having a dedicated Muslim prayer room. Number 2, changing the schedule of the school so the Muslim kids could go and pray. And number 3, having a Metro Nashville public school member supervise this Muslim prayer in Overton High School. This, folks, is almost certainly unconstitutional. Tom Pappert and I will discuss that in hour 2. Number 4, Phil Klein, leading legal expert, will be with us in hour 2. Number 5, Aaron Gulbinson joins us in hour 3, all things Tennessee General Assembly. Number 6, Donald Trump has strong words for NATO. In other words, get going, guys. And number 7, Laura Ingraham destroys the Republican guy who wants to have amnesty for illegal immigrants. So there you go. Crom, that is the morning rundown for Thursday, April 9th, 2026. Crom, it's brought to you by our friends at the Glock Store. I have a new phrase for them. You know, Lenny McGill, the founder.
Sure.
He started this 30 years ago in California. But about 5 years ago, they looked around and they decided California is not the place to be.
Hey, wise.
So they packed up their Glocks and moved to Tennessee. You like that?
Yeah.
This is a real treat. Every year, the Glock Store has their annual Nashville open house. I've been lucky enough to have attended every one of them. You've attended almost every one of them. They always have great speakers, including congressmen, senators, and yours truly. I think you spoke there too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hundreds of people show up
hundreds.
from all over the place.
Well, they've got a lot of great things. In addition to Crom Carmichael speaking and yours truly speaking, they have an all-day-long free open to the public raffle. It's likely, Crom, the best in the nation. Last year they gave away over $25,000 worth of great gun gear, including 3 Glocks, one of which was a GS Custom worth over $2,000. This year, Crom, it's on Saturday, May 30th. Now, if you're listening in Nashville, I encourage you to drop by. But if you're listening all around the United States of America on the 23 radio stations of the John Fredericks Radio Network or online, it might be a good idea to get in your car and drive here. Last year, Crom, I looked, there were like hundreds and hundreds of cars, and many of them were out of state. That's the Glock Store's 6th annual Nashville Open House, Saturday, May 30th, 2026. I'll be there, and you should be there too. So there you go. That's the morning rundown. All right, Crom, the war with Iran. Here's what Britt Hume has to say about it. Clip 17.
Well, I must say, Trace, that when I heard the Pentagon briefing this morning, first Secretary Hegseth and then General Kane, they both acted as if they think the war is basically over. Something has occurred that we don't know the details of that has given this administration, and President included, high hopes that Iran has blinked here, and that while a ceasefire may take a little while to settle in and become effective, that there's a real chance of a negotiated settlement along our terms.
Let me stop. Brett, I'm not seeing it the same way, Crom.
No, I don't see it the same way, and I watched the same. Unless there was a private press briefing.
No, I know the one you're talking about.
I watched the one that he watched.
Yeah,
and I think what Hegseth and Kane, what they said was, because they were asked, are you standing down? He said, no, we're here, we're prepared to defend, we're prepared to go on offense at a moment's notice. So I don't see it as the way that Brett sees it at all. In fact, I have kind of a different kind of take on what motivated, what are the different motivations that Trump has for doing this, which are, my thoughts without any input from anybody that would know when you.
This is why we have you on.
Yeah,
our listeners would like to know your thoughts on that right now.
Well, what the Iranians, what they did, what Trump did, and what Trump does as a negotiating tactic, especially if it's an adversary, is he jerks them around as much as he can.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he when I say jerks them around, he'll say one thing, he'll say something else, and then they're arguing amongst themselves as to what did he say and what did he mean, and well, that isn't what he said. He said something. So this is part of his. These are tactics that he uses. And what's interesting is our mainstream media, which by and large can't stand Trump, takes every single word that he says as gospel, except the actual things that he says about domestic policies, where they are for him, they are his absolute feelings, and they take those, and then they take those in reverse, or they don't believe him.
Mm-hmm.
But so I think what this is about is this. First of all, I think the April 6th deadline, I think for Trump that was an important deadline. However, what the Iranians did was they moved a bunch of women and children onto the bridges and into the utility facilities that were the targets of the bombing. And so what Trump did, and I also do think that the Iranians expressed an interest in negotiating, but I don't think it's anywhere near where they have.
It's not good faith.
I don't think it's good faith.
Yeah.
And
they have expressed an interest, but their plan.
And so what Trump has done is he's come out and he said the Iranians have expressed an interest in and by the way, this does get the Iranians to the negotiating table, which they refused to do.
Oh, they'll be there in Pakistan tomorrow.
So they will be there at the table, and Trump has made very, very clear throughout what his red lines are, and they are significant red lines. And so I think that this is, for Iran, they may be looking at it as a stalling tactic. For Trump, it's a tactic where the ceasefire goes on for as long as he wants it to, and when he decides that he wants to claim that they've broken the ceasefire or they're not acting in good faith, he won't warn them next time on bombing the bridges and the utilities. He'll just do it.
And the children and
the women
won't be there.
Won't be there.
I think you're onto something.
Well, if they don't concede to his major points, that's what I think will happen.
We'll talk more about the Iran, quote, ceasefire. We'll hear from J.D. Vance and a few other folks with Crom Carmichael after this.
How much did you win at Rosie's Gaming Emporium?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Richmond. I won a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from West Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
President Trump is already transforming Washington, D.C., making it the safest, cleanest, and most beautiful city in the world. But we need fighters on the ground to keep it going. I'm John Fredericks, and I'm running for chairman of D.C. GOP Ward 2 to make sure Trump's vision for this city becomes a reality. Safe streets, clean neighborhoods, and yes, rat-free. Go to MakeDCGreat.com. That's MakeDCGreat.com right now and send a donation. Let's finish what President Trump started. Donation limit $200. I'm John Fredericks, and I paid for this ad.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-555-1509. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-555-1509. That's 800-555-1509. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-555-1509. 800-555-1509.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just one local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. The one, the only, the original All-Star panelist, Crom Carmichael, in studio. Crom, J.D. Vance has not been at the forefront of foreign policy for several months, but now he is. And apparently, according to reports, it was his intervention late Tuesday that caused President Trump to accept this ceasefire. He was in Hungary at the time, campaigning for Viktor Orban, the Trump ally, who's up in a tough re-election battle. And now he's on his way and should be arriving shortly in Pakistan. There are some security concerns for him. But according to reports, he will be negotiating with whoever's the Iranian representative in Pakistan tomorrow, along with Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff. Witkoff, of course, the friend and designated representative of the U.S. government, friend of Donald Trump, and Jared Kushner, the son-in-law, who was very influential in the original Abraham Accords, and Trump won.
And let's remember that Witkoff and Jared Kushner are the two who had been negotiating or trying to negotiate with Iran before the war started.
Exactly.
And they finally threw up their hands and said they're not willing to do anything.
J.D. Vance has a description of all these various versions of the, quote, Iranian 10-point plan. Let's play that clip right now, clip 10. Clip 15.
Let me just say, given that you guys are going to ask about Iran, let me just say a few things, actually. So, number one, I think it's very important for the American media to be honest with the American people on this particular issue, because it affects not just, the normal issues of public policy. It actually affects peace and war. And here's what I mean. So in the past couple of days, I've seen a lot of reporting from the American media about the 10-point proposal that the Iranians have made. Now, as I know, because I've been involved in this, there are 3 different 10-point proposals, at least, that I've seen floating around. The first 10-point proposal was something that was submitted, and we think, frankly, was probably written by ChatGPT, that was submitted to Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. That immediately went in the garbage and was rejected. There was a second 10-point proposal that was much more reasonable, that was based on some back and forth between us, between the Pakistanis and Iranians. That is the 10-point proposal that the president was referencing in his truth yesterday. And then, frankly, I've seen a third 10-point proposal that's even more maximalist than the first 10-point proposal that's been floating around various social media channels. Now, here's what's interesting about all this, is that I've seen various organs, the New York Times, CNN, others, pick up and run the original 10-point proposal based on little more than a random Yahoo in Iran submitting it to public access television in the country of Iran, and then them saying that somehow represents the negotiating position of the government. It's the equivalent of somebody in, let's say, a Democratic councilman in Boise, Idaho, saying something crazy, the local public access TV picking up that crazy statement, and then the New York Times running that as the position of the President of the United States. It doesn't make an ounce of sense. What's happening on the ground in Iran is that you have clearly the position of the government, which is to negotiate with the United States of America. You have the position of the President of the United States, which is to send the negotiators to Pakistan and engage in this good faith negotiation. And then, yes, you have some crazy people at the fringes of the Iranian who are leaking anonymously either for propaganda purposes or because they're embarrassed or because they don't like what happened. And the final point, when I say they don't like what happened, what we know is that the United States accomplished its military objectives. What we know is the United States could have imposed significant additional military and economic costs on Iran and still has the capacity to do so. But we thankfully at this point, I think, have a ceasefire thanks to the leadership of the President of the United States. The Iranians promising to open the Straits of Hormuz, and we have a negotiation that's supposed to start this weekend.
Okay, so they're not honoring that promise. But I thought what was interesting about that is how he describes the way the American media, the regime media, the New York Times, CNN, are following zero journalistic standards in reporting on this.
Right, and that's been going on for this entire Trump administration, and you could actually make the argument since Trump came down the escalator.
Yeah.
In 2015.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because they hate him.
And they do, but it's not just they hate him. They hate the fact that he actually is executing a plan for all the things that are near and dear to them, which is everything about making government bigger and more powerful, and then they get to be part of that, and they're being excluded. They're being excluded from that because Trump is doing exactly the opposite. But let me ask you a question, Michael. Inside Iran, okay, you've got the government officials that Trump is negotiating with. Now, these are government officials that are 3 or 4 levels down from the top of the government 6 weeks ago, because the top 3 levels have all been killed. And so now you have so these people were minions in the 6 weeks ago, and now they are claiming that they represent the current regime. But what if the Revolutionary Guard doesn't like what these people are trying to? What if there are elements in the Revolutionary Guard who refuse to give up the enriched uranium? Who refuse to stop building long-range missiles? Who refuse to agree to the point that would be negotiated? Would that spark a civil war? Would it mean that the Republican Guard would purposefully still even after let's just say there's an agreement that's reached, and that the government agrees to do all the things that Trump has said are his red lines, and for that they get some things, but there are elements in Iran that don't want that agreement to actually matter. Inside Iran, wouldn't they do things to scuttle the agreement? It would seem to me they would. They would blow up a tanker going through the Straits of Hormuz. They might lob missiles into different countries, and this would not be because the government of Iran is telling them to do it. And so then how would you know whether or not they're doing it at the behest of the government or in opposition to the government? So we're in a position where I do think ultimately there will be more damage done to the Iranian economy before this matter is finally where the things are settled. And
look, here we are in our nice safe studio in Nashville, Tennessee, and we only know what we read from our various sources or hear. And, the regime media, New York Times, CNN, are all unreliable because they hate Trump so much. But it does appear to me that, A, this ceasefire will not hold. It may never even be fully a ceasefire, right? A. B, Iran is a huge country, greater than in size than Texas.
2 times.
2 times the size of Texas, so huge. And 90 million people. The reports we have is 15% of them are aligned with the Revolutionary Guard, which are the hardcore crowd with the guns.
Right.
They are not going to give up power.
I don't think they will, but
they have to be destroyed. It seems to me,
well,
ultimately.
Either that, or you need to have a couple of million at least Iranian people who are freedom fighters who are armed.
Yeah, no, I think that's right.
And then you have then what you have is then the Revolutionary Guard has no idea who among the hostile population can kill them.
Yeah, I think that's where this is probably headed at some point. I don't think this ceasefire will hold. It'll be a period of time of negotiations that will probably go nowhere in the end. And then Trump will have the reason to go ahead and engage suddenly in all-out military attacks.
Well, and he has 2 weeks to plan.
Yeah.
The military has 2 weeks to plan the targets, and those targets may be different than the targets would have been 2 days ago.
I think that's exactly right.
So it's to be determined what's going to happen. NATO's reaction to all this is not surprising, but it's incredibly disappointing.
Well, when we come back, we'll hear from the Secretary General of NATO.
Okay.
And a few more things that you've discovered that you want to share with us.
Great.
Back with Carmichael after this.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you My Pillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our My Pillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our My Pillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door, absolutely free.
Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-854-0504 and use promo code Godzilla to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
1775 Coffee is giving away free starter kits. Try the dark or medium roast coffee with longevity blend, an infused blend with anti-aging supplements clinically proven to reduce biological age. When you purchase the first 2 bags, you'll receive a free 1775 starter kit, including a third 16-ounce bag of coffee, a matte black tumbler, a frother, a gold scoop, or a reusable K-cup filter. Just order now at 1775coffee.com/Godzilla and claim your free 1775 starter kit while supplies last.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
My fellow Americans, I have to tell you about my good friends at D.T. McCall & Sons. They have furniture and appliances and a lot more. They've been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years, and they're not going to rip you off. No hidden charges, no delivery charges, no charges for all of the crazy things. These are sick people at the lumber yards. These are very sick people. They charge you for cords and hoses and haul off. They charge you for all of these things. They call them hidden charges. It's the type of surprise that you don't want to see. It's like an October surprise, but it's worse. D.T. McCall & Sons, they're not going to do that. They're great people. They're going to give you a great deal. With locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, D.T. McCall & Sons will give you the deal of your life. Check them out today or go to dtmccalls.com.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Someday, Carmichael, original All-Star pianist, someday we will broadcast what we talk about off air. Someday. It's as interesting.
Definitely funny.
It's funny.
Definitely funny.
All right. Let's talk about...
And it would actually be funnier to the listener than it is to us. if they knew us a little bit.
Yeah, if they knew us a little bit.
Go, that is not just funny. That is ridiculous.
Ridiculous. That is classic Crom and Mike back and forth.
All righty.
Okay, speaking of ridiculous, NATO is a bit ridiculous. Formed in 1949, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Well, you know what the other NATO members have not been doing? They have not been coming to the aid of the United States in this Iran situation. But the Secretary General of NATO, there are 32 members of NATO right now.
Okay.
European countries and the United States. You know, the big ones would have been United Kingdom, Germany, France. They're all a bunch of weasels. And but they've got a Secretary General, Mark Rutte, from Germany, who talked Trump brought him into the woodshed for 2 hours. He's been very Trump friendly. Here's what he had to say about NATO countries. Clip 9.
Is the world safer today than it was before the war was started?
Absolutely. Because, and this is thanks to President Trump's leadership, degrading these capabilities is really very important for your and my safety here in the U.S., in Europe, in the Middle East.
That was Fake Tapper from CNN.
Okay.
You remember the guy who was going to come on my show?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
That guy?
Yeah.
The guy who said he would come on my show?
Yes. Yeah.
Has never responded since? That guy?
Yeah. But the answer I thought was interesting because what else is he going to say? I mean, truly, what else is he going to say? And then if you look at the position of what our NATO allies are willing to do.
What is it? What are they willing to do?
Nothing.
And
so I think they've done a little here or a little there, but I mean just tiny things.
Not even airspace access.
I mean, I'm saying that
Spain,
whatever it is they've been willing to do has been very, very small. And so the question is not to ask the head of NATO that question. The question is to ask the heads of these countries,
the member countries
that are deciding not to offer support, and so I think if there is an agreement with Iran, what I think will be in there is that Iran and the U.S. will split a toll.
Yeah,
and on every ship that goes through,
including the Europeans that go through.
I'm saying every ship that goes through, because none of the ships that go through come to the U.S.
Yeah.
They don't come to you. Maybe
we
a
get
couple
money
of them
from it.
But we would get money. I So I just think that would be grand.
To put it in the context, 20% of all the oil in the world market goes through the Strait of Hormuz.
Mm-hmm.
But 99% of that oil goes to Japan or India or Europe.
Or China.
Or China, and not the United States of America.
We're self-sufficient.
Yeah, exactly. Now,
which is different than 1979. So people who say this is like 1979,
it is not.
It is simply not on a whole bunch of different levels.
Victor Davis Hanson has a few words to say about the weaklings at NATO. Clip 6. Oh, we got a little intro there. Here we go. Here, Victor. Come on, Victor. Okay, the intro's fine, but here we go. Come on, Victor. Come on. Here we go. Oh, they're just doing their...
Hello, this is Victor Davis Hanson for the Daily Signal. Once again, NATO is in crisis. It seems like this is happening every 3 or 4 years. It predates and will post-date Trump. We are engaged in a bombing campaign to disarm the Iranian theocracy that for 47 years has killed Americans in embassies and military installations. It supplies the terrorists of Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis. It funds and subsidizes terrorists in Europe, tried to kill President Trump. I could go on forever. So we decided enough is enough because we felt that their ballistic missiles had a range that could harm Europe and soon us, and that was proven by its launching of 2 missiles toward Diego Garcia Islands and the Indian Ocean. And what was the result of our NATO allies when we said, we don't have to do it, we'll do the heavy lifting along with Israel. Don't have to do anything. I know we helped you in Ukraine. I know we helped you in Serbia. I know we helped you French in Chad. I know we helped you British when you went to the Falklands on that long adventure and you needed fuel and reconnaissance and resupplies and Tomahawk. We know all that, but we're not asking that. We don't need it. All we want to do is land at the bases that we share with you on your soil under NATO. So Spain said, nope, can't do it. You can't fly through our airspace. We said, well, maybe if we're going from our base in Britain, we'll go across France. Nope, can't do that either. Well, how about when our bombers want to refuel in Italy? No, you can't do that. Can't do that. Well, how about Diego Garcia? We've used that before. And Mr. Sturmer, not our war.
Okay, so he makes the case. That was recorded, I think, a day before the ceasefire, alleged ceasefire.
Okay, yeah.
But he makes the point, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yes. And so the question is, why are we in NATO? We still pay for what
60% of it.
Okay, 60, 70.
We pay so that the average French person, can take a 8-week vacation every year. Basically, that's basically what that is, because they don't spend the money on defense.
Well, and I think that the reason that the NATO countries won't support us is they have a significant Muslim population, and among that Muslim population is a material minority of Islamists.
Yeah, 6% of the population of the United Kingdom is Muslim. 8% of the population of Sweden is Muslim. 10% of the population of France is Muslim, and 8% of the population of Germany is Muslim.
And if only 1% of that 6% are Islamists and are prepared to be terrorists, that's a large number. And so they're scared to death of their own population. And so
you know who else is scared to death of them and maybe aligned with them? I'm trying to say this. You saw King Charles III refused to give an Easter message, but he did give a Ramadan message.
Yeah. So you know,
he's afraid.
Well, that's and
he's a weasel.
Well, he's afraid, and so the question, I think the question for us is, why do we want to risk agreeing to come to the aid and fight and engage in a fight if NATO members are attacked, when they not only won't help us, they actually go out of their way to make it difficult.
Yes.
And so I don't think that's I think it's it's a very good question. And
ultimately, we're going to pull out.
I think we'll pull out, and we'll pull all our troops out of Europe.
Yeah.
Which will save us a lot of money.
And so, does that accelerate the Islamist control of Europe?
That's a great question, but I don't think our inclusion in NATO will affect that.
I think you're right.
Well, I mean, I think whatever's going to happen to Europe is out of our hands, and it should be out of our hands.
The Islamists are going to take over Europe.
Well, we'll see.
They're going to take over the United Kingdom. They're going to take over France. They're going to take over Germany. Maybe not so much.
Well, Michael,
but Sweden, they've already taken over.
Well,
Norway, they're on the process of taking over.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but if you get the wrong administration here, the population of Islamists in the United States could increase by millions.
Yes.
So this is not a problem confined to Europe. And
let me just say this. There's a tipping. This is my theory on this. There's a tipping point of the population, which is about 5%. When 5% of your population is Muslim, the radicals are so aggressive that they intimidate the elected political officials, and then the policies start to cave towards Islamism. Here, we're about 1.5%.
I'm saying.
So we're 3.5% away from that tipping point.
Well,
it seems to me.
Yeah.
At the moment.
I'm not disagreeing, but with the wrong administration, you could end up with. I mean, when you look at how the Democrats, the Somali population in the United States, like 75 to 80% are on welfare.
Yeah.
A huge percentage of the amount of fraud that's going on in all these different federal programs is perpetrated by the Somali population.
Yes.
But yet the Democrats defend the Somali population almost, well, not just almost, more than they do any other immigrant population.
Because, back to the theory of the case here, why do Democrats control the state of Minnesota? Because they've got a deal made with the devil being the Somali immigrants.
I agree that they have a deal with the devil and the Somali immigrants. I agree with that. The reason the Democrats control Minnesota is they've changed their voting laws so that they can determine the outcome of an election. And I want to be very clear about this. If I'm a registered voter in Minnesota, I can show up at the polls on election day with 8 people who are up to 8 people who are not registered to vote, and I can vouch for them on election day by saying that they are legitimate citizens. Here's their name, here's their address, and they don't need to provide any identification to support what I am vouching. And if you can do that, then you can control the elections. And so I think that the elections in Minnesota are suspicious would be the kindest word that I can come up with.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And so the deal with the Somali population goes way beyond, and that's where there's all this money. They're protecting them. The Minnesota bureaucracy is protecting all the fraudsters. But in a somewhat related story, the DOJ has come out and they now are investigating, and they claim this is the tip of the iceberg. 8,000 cases of fraud against federal taxpayers.
Crom, when we come back, I'll put it this way. Fang was not the only bang going on with Eric Swalwell, the Democrat congressman from California.
Yes.
And you'll give us the details on that. That's what you call
a tease.
A tease. Back after this.
Is a record player the best way to listen to music? Of course not. So why are you still taking vitamins in pill form that haven't been upgraded since the 1930s? Even if you don't have trouble swallowing, most vitamins in pill form can't be absorbed very well. It's time to upgrade to the pill-free future of vitamins. Advanced nutrition company, Healthy Cell, created a patent-pending ingestible gel that is clinically proven to have 265% the absorption rate of tablets. These physician-formulated supplements come in a small gel pack. You tear off the top and shoot it down. You can also mix it in water. They taste great, they're convenient on the go, and they're more natural too, without chemical binders, fillers, and coatings. Go to HealthyCell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's HealthyCell.com. HealthyCell.com.
What if those who were once called conspiracy theorists turn out to be right again? A new study by Korean doctors claimed that COVID vaccines raise the risk of 6 cancers, including lung, breast, and prostate. Researchers analyzed health records from more than 8.4 million adults between 2021 and 2023, and their findings were published in Biomarker Research, a respected scientific journal. Critics dismiss it, but the data raises concern that spike protein exposure may be tied to long-term health risks. And Dr. Peter McCullough has been aware of this since 2020, which is why he collaborated with the wellness company to create Ultimate Spike Detox, designed to help your body clear spike proteins, reduce inflammation, and support heart health. With natural ingredients like nattokinase, dandelion root, and bromelain, it is your daily proactive defense from a man-made virus. Don't wait until symptoms strike or something unexpected happens. Experience the only formula approved and used by Dr. McCullough, one of the top doctors who risked it all. Go to twc.health/Godzilla. That's twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla to get 10% off plus free shipping.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just one local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. Original All-Star panelist Crom Carmichael has some news about Democrat Congressman Eric Swalwell, who is one of the leading candidates now for governor of California.
Yeah, and so Mike, let's kind of set this up so that everything that I'm talking about is in proper context. In California, they don't have a primary that is by party. They have what is called a jungle primary, where anyone who wants to run for governor runs in the same primary, and if none of them get 50%, then the top 2 candidates run off in the general election.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 Republicans who are running, and there are about 8 Democrats who are running. And what the Democrat Party itself is now concerned about is that the 2 Republicans who are polling quite nicely, that the 2 Republicans will be the ones who end up with the 2 with the most votes, because the 8 or so Democrats who are running will divide the rest of the votes between them, and none of them would be in the top two.
And Steve Hilton has been endorsed, the Republican, one of the two, has been endorsed.
Well,
by
and then
Donald
the sheriff
Yeah.
is also quite popular. And I'm not
Right.
I'm not talking about the Republican side.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm talking about the Democrat side. So the Democrats are now, they have now, and this is now public news. They are now on a very concerted way, are trying to suppress the voters suppress the will of the voters by trying to get some Democrats to drop out of the race, even though they're well known and are polling relatively well. But the Democrats don't want the voters to have too many choices on the Democrat side. I call that voter suppression. I don't know what you would, but they're trying to force some Democrats out of the race. Well, Eric Swalwell right now is leading the race, but apparently there is it has been well known in the Democrat Party that Fang Fang was not his only love interest when he was in earlier days.
You cleaned it up a little bit.
And
there.
so what happened while he was a council member for the Dublin, California council member, apparently there are now a number of women who are going to come forward with accusations of significant sexual harassment, at least allegations against Eric Swalwell. Eric Swalwell put out a statement, and he's also they're also claiming that some of these women were forced to sign NDAs. So here is Eric Swalwell. Non-disclosure agreements, which is by definition, according to the left-leaning media, that's hush money, because Trump, remember Trump's NDA with Stormy Daniels was considered to be not you can't do that. Well, Eric Swalwell apparently has had numerous, according to the reports, but this is what he put out. In 13 years, no one in Eric Swalwell's congressional office has ever asked to sign an NDA, ever. In 13 years, not a single ethics complaint by staff members in his office or any other office has ever been lodged, ever. Well, that covers the years he's in Congress, not the time he was the city council member in Dublin. Now, the other interesting part of this story is that there's a reporter named Nick Sartor.
You see a lot of him on X, formerly Twitter.
Yeah, and apparently he lives in Washington, D.C., and he was eating at a restaurant, and Eric Swalwell came in and was sitting at the table next to him. And Eric Swalwell didn't know that Nick Sartor, I guess, doesn't recognize him. And there were a bunch of what Nick Sartor believes to have been lobbyists who were sitting with Eric Swalwell. And here is what this article says, that Nick Sartor then started taping, according to Nick Sartor, started taping the conversation. And in Washington, D.C., a one-way tape recording is legal. It's legal in Washington, D.C.
I didn't know that.
And according to this article, in red state. But Nick Sartor has not released the audio at this point, but he has released what he said he heard, which he can do that. So here's what he says he heard, and this is from Nick Sartor. Eric Swalwell panics when I asked about his Chinese spy girlfriend Fang Fang and whether that's a bigger national security threat than Elon Musk. I sat next to a drunk Swalwell at dinner for 90 minutes. He was immediately compromised by a group of lobbyists that he had just met, spilling intimate details about his job and asking for help to cheat on his wife. Massive security threat, massive national security threat. This guy should have his clearance revoked. Swalwell spent his dinner bragging about his orgies on Capitol Hill and telling them he's bored with his wife and only wants to have relationships. I'm cleaning that up with tens. And so that is apparently, according to that article, and Nick Sartor is he's well known as a contributor to X and whatnot.
When did that come out?
That came out April 8th.
I've heard that story before.
That's the Nick Sartor story? Okay.
That he only wants to have friendships with tens.
Oh, you've heard that story. Well,
apparently he's consistent.
Yeah, apparently he's consistent. So at any rate, At any rate, the Democrats are trying to winnow the field.
Yeah.
And my guess is that the knives are out within the Democrat Party.
Sure.
They're also out there to get rid of Eric Swalwell.
And on that happy note, Crom?
And I am happy about that. I don't like Eric Swalwell.
Who likes him? Really? Nobody. All right. Crom, thanks so much for joining us today.
You betcha.
It's always a great pleasure to have you here. In our next hour, Phil Klein, if all goes well, a legal expert from Liberty University. And then, Crom, you got to listen to this. Tom Pappert, the Nashville banner and the proselytization of Nashville public high school students for Islam. Back after this.
Each of us is born with 30 trillion cells that make us. These cells determine how we feel, perform, sleep, focus, and how long we live. And to live our best life, all we have to do is feed our cells properly. But most supplements don't reach our cells, keeping us from reaching our full potential. Make every cell count with Healthy Cell. Founded with a mission to empower people to take control of their own health at the most fundamental level, the cell. Dr. Vincent Gempapa, world-renowned cell researcher and medical doctor, created supplements that work at the cellular level to support immune health, better sleep, sharper focus, and healthy aging. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's healthycell.com, HEALTHYCELL, and use code GODZILLA for 20% off.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
And they gave me a curveball question. Price of oil is $88 today. I said, it's a temporary thing, but I have something to inform you. And I'm going to say it very slowly. Under President Biden, the price of oil was $80, $90, $100 for 4 years. Under President Trump, maybe it's going to be $80 for 1 month.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
Did I say it slowly enough to everybody understand?
I love that. John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio Show.
This is WJFN Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFB Portsmouth, part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. There's disagreement over the parameters of the U.S.-Iran ceasefire, which so far has been holding. Correspondent Charles De Ledesma says the dispute has to do with Israel's deadly attacks on Hezbollah targets in Lebanon.
In unusually strong language, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has condemned Israeli strikes in Lebanon that killed and injured hundreds on Wednesday. Israel says the ceasefire agreement does not extend to its war in Lebanon with the Iran-backed Hezbollah militant group, although Iran and mediator Pakistan say it does.
President Trump says American warships and troops will remain around Iran until a real agreement to end the war has been reached.
With the 14-day ceasefire in place, the president said U.S. armed forces won't be returning home immediately. Writing on social media, he said America's military presence will remain until both sides reach a real agreement. A deal, he said, that would prevent Iran from building nuclear weapons and keep the Strait of Hormuz open. The president went on to warn that if the U.S. and Iran cannot permanently end the war, then in his words, the shootin' starts bigger and better than before. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The Lebanon issue has prompted Iran to once again disrupt shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Police in the Bahamas say they've arrested the husband of a Michigan woman who vanished from a boat last weekend. The Coast Guard says it's opened a criminal investigation of the matter. Authorities say Lynette Hooker was traveling in an 8-foot motorboat Saturday night and that her husband Brian Hooker told authorities that she fell overboard and was swept away. Watching Wall Street this morning, stocks have been in the red all morning long. Right now, the Dow is down about 140 points. The Nasdaq Composite Index off 29 and the S&P trading 9 points lower. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Kirk Cameron. Is health insurance eating up your budget for 2026?
If you're looking for ways to better steward your finances, consider this: Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a health insurance alternative at half the cost. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. While insurance companies tell you when to join, what to pay, and where to go, CHM is different. As a ministry, CHM allows you to share the burden of medical bills with other Christians. You can enroll, switch programs, or leave at any time. Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a world of difference. CHM has 4 flexible programs. You can pick any certified doctor, surgeon, or hospital that you want for eligible care. So make the switch. Take your paycheck back from health insurance this year. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
Fired University of Wisconsin President Jay Rothman says he's still not exactly sure why he was let go.
Initially, the Regents had asked Rothman to retire or resign or face being fired. Rothman says he considered retiring, but says when they gave him no reason, he decided against it. Rothman says he's not sure if his deal with the Republicans in 2023 to freeze diversity hires while creating a position focused on conservative thought in exchange for the legislature's release of money for employee raises and construction projects played a role. Rothman says he was brought in to make tough decisions.
I have made each of those decisions with what I thought was in the best interest of the universities of Wisconsin.
I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Seeking re-election, Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban is the rare European leader who's welcoming President Trump's endorsement. Vice President Vance campaigned for Orban this week. News and analysis, townhall.com. The Artemis 2 astronauts continue their homeward-bound journey. All is going according to plan. The crew expected to splash down tomorrow in the waters off Southern California. One of the world's most famous highways marks its centennial this year.
Known for its neon lights and roadside diners, Route 66 boasts a rich and complicated history that has lured motorists for generations. The 100th anniversary is expected to bring more traffic to the Mother Road as road trippers set out for a slice of nostalgia. The 2,400-mile route stretches from Chicago to the Santa Monica Pier near Los Angeles, tracing paths once used by Native Americans and early pioneers. Hardships and hope are baked into the road's history. It was an escape route for many in the 1930s, a key military supply line during World War II, and later a symbol for mobility and freedom. Keith Peters reporting.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We are joined now on our Zoom newsmaker line by one of the leading legal experts in the country, the former Attorney General for the state of Kansas, now Professor of Law at Liberty University and the director of the Amistad Project about election integrity, the one, the only, Phil Klein. Welcome, Phil.
Good morning, Michael.
Phil, so here's an interesting question for you. I read your outstanding commentary, which we featured, your op-ed, we featured at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network last night. American legacy media, blind by design. This has been my experience as well. They don't want to report on anything related to election fraud or lack of election integrity. Tell us about your op-ed and your experience, Phil.
Well, what prompted this most recently was reading an ABC News article where President Trump is quoted expressing his opinion that the Iranian people are supportive of American action because they would like to see the regime change. And ABC added its typical line as it relates to any type of opinion by conservatives or by President Trump and said, President Trump made this statement with no evidence, which is stunning. If you read other ABC reports as it relates to the internals of Iran from their Mideast desk, you will see reports that the Iranian regime is publicly executing Olympians, that they've had to murder close to 40,000 people to try to suppress revolts. And if that is not evidence, reported by the very same news agency, what you're seeing is this asymmetrical reporting and this creation by design of a dual standard, where any claim by the left is allowed to draw inferences and project conclusions and possible actions, while anything on the right, you have to have somebody standing there confessing and then beating themselves for them to believe what was said about them is true. So in the same vein as ABC refusing to report about the internals of the Iranian regime in support of President Trump's opinion, they have a news story that speculates that Trump is going to, based on some statements and based on experts who say that he will likely, and that if he does this, it would be a war crime. So in one vein, they have experts making implications based on their opinions and extrapolations, and of course these are leftist experts, that a statement by Trump will translate, it's not evidence, it's proof, will translate into war crimes by the United States military. And on the other hand, while reporting that the Iranian regime has had to kill tens of thousands of people in their own country who are protesting the regime, will say there's no evidence that the Iranians desire a change in their political leadership. It's stunning. It's offensive.
They keep doing this, Phil, even though you and I've been pointing this out for, I don't know, almost 20 years, right? You've been probably pointing it out even longer. They keep doing it, and they are more brazen in their disregard for evidence and the truth today in the regime media than they were when you and I started reporting on it, 20 years ago or so.
It's gotten worse and worse.
Yeah, it really has gotten awful.
It creates a crisis in a democratic republic, because so much of a free society and the continuation of that free society is dependent upon our faith in our institutions that are designed to keep us free. And when the media plays the propaganda game and sides with a particular faction repeatedly, it undermines that faith in an important institution in America. And it's in the toilet right now. People don't have any faith in the media.
Well, the regime media. It's interesting.
Yes.
First, what is the solution to this problem, in your view, Phil Klein?
Well, the solution to the problem, in my view, is what it's always been, and it was the view of our founders, and that is we need a public who is willing to try to fight and seek out the truth and make responsible decisions. And it's a real challenge today, particularly with the changes in legacy media, but also the social media, which feeds us what we want to hear and creates all of these silos of thinking and isolates and separates us. It takes a discipline to engage a democracy or a democratic republic. And the question is, will we have that discipline? I will also say this, Michael, and this is more on a practical level. American society, and this has been fed by both the left and the right, has consolidated authority in virtually every realm of human existence. We've created a National Department of Education. We've created regulations from everything from barbering to hair braiding to building a nuclear power plant. And in each one of those steps, you consolidate authority. And when you consolidate authority, that authority can be captured ideologically. And that ideological capture always tends towards further consolidation of authority. And that's what we've seen in America. And that is a primary premise of Marxism. So we have allowed, for example, this authority to be easily captured by interests contrary to the United States. You see it with the American Bar Association, who even has their meetings in Canada because they're offended by what the United States is, and spends their meetings criticizing the United States and trying to compel speech within the United States through their regulatory efforts. We have to break up this authority. We have to break it up, and we have to move it down closer to the people. That's a very practical suggestion. And the Republican Party needs to focus on local races more so than congressional races. We need to win at the local level. Our heroes need to be the local electeds, not the people who keep bringing power to D.C.
You know, a profound statement you just made there. Social media today creates silos that isolate and separate us. That's not good for a constitutional republic, is it, Phil Klein?
It's not. You can't live in a curated environment. If you're going to be a free society, you're going to have to engage in relationship with others and with those with whom you disagree. And you have to be willing to stand up for the freedom of those with whom you disagree, or we won't remain free. And this curated society, in order to generate clicks and to prolong exposure so that it is commodifying our opinions, uses outrage, and then it obfuscates the truth. So we have to read the whole darn thing to figure out it was worthless to start reading in the first place.
You know,
so
related to that, I've noticed in this clickbait world that the social media has created, used to be in journalism, and we still do it at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, you would have the lead, L-E-D-E, in the first sentence. Now, because they want to keep you on the page longer, the lead is buried at the bottom of the story, and it's just disgraceful. 1 minute left.
Yeah,
Phil.
Well, defining what the lead is, who, what, why, when, where, how. In other words, the substance of the facts. And yes, that's often buried and sometimes not even mentioned today.
Yeah.
And what the lead is now, the so-called lead or the first paragraph, is nothing but opinion to generate outrage.
Boom. And on that, Phil Klein, great legal expert, good friend. Phil, thank you so much for joining us today, and thanks for that great op-ed.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., fascinating guy. He's starting a podcast. He's the Secretary of Health and Human Services. I think it'll be pretty interesting. We'll talk about that and more after this.
Ponder this. Imagine for a moment that you are lying on your deathbed. This is a great exercise to do each day in preparation for your very last day on earth. Think about the tests you've ever taken, the job interviews you've had, and the many life celebrations you've been a part of. In all of these cases, preparation makes for successful outcomes. The same is true for dying. We must prepare every day for the day we are to die, in case today might be our last. Make sure you are right with the Lord first and foremost. If you are a Catholic, make sure you are in the state of grace by receiving the sacrament of confession often. Next, make sure you are right with your family, friends, and all those who are in your world. Apologize to those who have offended you and mend relationships that need healing. Make each day a preparation for your last day on earth, because it just may be. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now.
Washington is wasting $500 million every year on a federal supervision system that doesn't work. Probation officers are overwhelmed. Resources are going to people who pose zero threat, while actual dangerous individuals slip through the cracks. The Safer Supervision Act stops the waste and refocuses every dollar on protecting families from harm. President Trump's own pollster found about 80% of Trump voters want this fixed. It's time for Congress to get this done. Stop the waste. Protect our communities. Visit safersupervision.com. Paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
President Trump is already transforming Washington, D.C., making it the safest, cleanest, and most beautiful city in the world. But we need fighters on the ground to keep it going. I'm John Fredericks, and I'm running for chairman of D.C. GOP Ward 2 to make sure Trump's vision for this city becomes a reality. Safe streets, clean neighborhoods, and yes, rat-free. Go to MakeDCGreat.com. That's MakeDCGreat.com right now and send a donation. Let's finish what President Trump started. Donation limit $200. I'm John Fredericks, and I paid for this ad.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just one local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are indeed broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. If you want to call in today, our phone number is 615-814-2848. That is 615-814-2848. We need three things from you. We need, number one, your name. Number two, we need your state of residence. And number three, we need your topic. 615-814-2848. And you can watch us on X Live. We've got, just go to Michael P. Leahy or the Tennessee Star. We're live and in living color 3 hours every weekday. You can also watch us on YouTube, Rumble, Roku TV, Apple TV, Firestick TV. I suppose there's something else out there. We're not on that yet. And you can listen to us on the audio on, just go to the John Fredericks Radio Network app or go to 760 AM WENO app or just go to michaelpatrickleahy.com. There's so many ways to listen to the program. I want to talk about something interesting here right now. Very interesting to me. It's sort of the transformation, if you will, of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Bobby Kennedy Jr., from a heroin addict to a real champion of health in America and Secretary of Health and Human Services. I knew Bobby Kennedy I knew him. I don't think he remembers me at all. We were in a seminar together at Harvard, his junior year, my sophomore year. And he was clearly on drugs then. He was sort of an under-control drug guy, to a degree. He said he was a heroin addict at the time. He was a heroin addict for 14 years. We'll get to that in a bit. There's a lot more to the story. But he stopped, and he's been in recovery for over 40 years. He's going to be doing a podcast. And so let's hear him talk about that podcast right now.
For decades now, Americans have been told that we should trust the system, but our children are sicker, chronic diseases exploding, and the answers that we've been given aren't working. Many of us have come to the conclusion that government actually lies to us. I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS secretary. This podcast is about telling the truth, especially when it's uncomfortable. I'm going to have fearless conversations with critical thinkers, including independent doctors, respected scientists, and leaders in medical innovation and research. I'm going to ask the questions and lift the taboos and expose the hypocrisy and the conflicts and the corruption.
So
we're going to follow the evidence wherever it leads. And we're going to name the names of the forces that obstruct the paths to public health. This isn't going to be about politics. It's about our families, it's about our children, and it's about confronting the spiritual malaise and embracing the truth. If we want a healthy nation, we have to confront the lies that have made us spiritually, morally, and physically sick. The time for half measures is now over. We're launching a new era of radical transparency in government here at HHS. I hope you'll join us in our mission to make America healthy again.
Okay, so he's got a podcast coming. I think a podcast is a good idea. We could probably help him a little bit. First, the background music. No, that's not the background music to use. The other thing, too, is, he's got this voice problem. His very shaky, strained voice. It's a chronic neurological disorder that he's been diagnosed with like 30 years ago. It's called spasmodic dysphonia. And, he's been treated. He's somewhat better than he was. But still, it's a little, he's not as hard to listen to as he was like a couple years ago when, he first started appearing on Stephen K. Bannon's War Room, right? But he's tough. He's treated, he gets treatment in 2022. He underwent surgery in Japan to implant a titanium bridge between his vocal cords, and that improved his speaking a little bit. He also receives botulinum toxin, Botox injections, into his vocal cords every 4 months to alleviate the symptoms. But still, and so he sounds better, but he's got the kind of voice where he needs, you can listen to it for a while and then it starts to grate on you, right? So he needs a little break every now and then. And, hopefully his podcast will be, well done and they'll get a little better background music. But he's a very interesting fellow and very intelligent. And he really transformed his life from the time he was an addict. Here he is talking about that transformation of his life. It is beyond fascinating. Let's go with this clip right now. We'll break it up every now and then, but let's just go get started.
I can tell you that, again, within a year of my dad's death, I was doing drugs I was addicted for 14 years. So I quit when I was 28 years old, and during that period when I was in early recovery is when all of these things started to make sense to me, and all of the, the books that I had read, my Catholic upbringing, all of this confluence of, of philosophy and theology and self-examination and pain that you go through. Mm-hmm. We grow through pain. Pain is ultimately the touchstone of spiritual growth. And, addicts have a unique opportunity for redemption because they've been to hell. And, I was able, during that period, I was lucky enough to be able to synthesize a lot of these lessons that I'd learned that were probably incoherent to me earlier.
Yeah.
Whenever you're living against conscience, which you're doing if you're addicted, you push God over the periphery of your horizon. So there is a complete disconnection. And, you become, I feel like I was like a one-dimensional human being, that I was a collection of appetites that needed to be fed all the time.
Let me just stop. That's interesting the way you describe that. So first, what I learned there, and the way he framed it, which is understandable, that, his father, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., was assassinated in 1968 when he was, was he 13 years old? Yeah, 13 years old. And within a year, when he was 14, he began doing drugs. And during the period of time that I knew him just casually in one class in the seminar at Harvard, his description of himself as a one-dimensional person, that rings true to me. But what's interesting is how when he decided to stop being an addict, he began with an understanding that God was critical to that process. Let's continue with this interview.
And that becomes a full-time job. There was, all of these needs that I had, whether they were sex or drugs or alcohol or extreme behavior or whatever, and that they were constantly demanding to be fed. And that was my full-time occupation, and it's very, very time-consuming. And then I picked up this book by Carl Jung called Synchronicity, and it was a kind of synchronicity that it was sitting on a table. And the reason I picked it up was because there was an album by The Police that had just been released, and it had the same name, and I didn't know what the word was. So I picked it up out of curiosity. And synchronicity is a coincidence. It's like one of those things that happens to all of us when we start noticing them. It happens more often. But like, if an example would be you're talking about somebody who you haven't seen or thought about in 20 years. Mm-hmm. And the phone rings and it's that person on the phone. And these little things happen to us all the time, right? And Jung saw those as those incidents as interventions by God who would reach through the universe and break all of his own rules, the rules of mathematics, arithmetic of percentages of chance, of biology, and of time and space, would reach through and do these little things to touch us on the shoulder. And
now this is interesting. I bring this up. Why? Because we had Catherine Burkham here, co-chair of the Great American Recovery Initiative with Bobby Kennedy Jr. She was a terrific guest. We're going to try to get a long-form interview with her soon, and we're going to try to get Bobby Kennedy Jr. on. And I think it'll be very, very interesting. When we come back, is there a violation of the Constitution going on right now, the First Amendment, in Nashville Public Schools? I think so. Back after this.
Folks, this is Crime Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea. I have recently turned 77 years old. I do not take prescription drugs. I have not had to take prescription drugs, and I attribute a lot of my good health to a product that I've been taking, which is the active ingredient in Soul Tea. It's a 22% concentration of theaflavin. We did clinical trials on it 25 years ago and found that it helped lower cholesterol. We have had many, many hundreds of letters and emails from customers telling us how it has helped them not only manage their cholesterol, but lower their triglycerides and help them on their blood pressure. And I can't tell you how much I attribute to Soul Tea for my good health at age 77. And I encourage you to go to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. And use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% off on your initial shipment of Soul Tea. And I promise you it will be a great help for your heart health. Thanks so much.
The burglars are coming. Northern Virginia politicians are trying to steal your voice in Congress. Liberal elites in Fairfax County have redrawn Virginia's districts. 5 seats in Congress for Fairfax County, 10 seats stolen, rigged to elect liberal Democrats. And for you, they only left 1 seat for you. That's the new map. Liberals steal 10 out of the 11 seats in Virginia. But only if they win a statewide vote on April 21st. They will raise our taxes, reopen the border to more illegal immigrants, and take away our guns. We have one chance to stop them: the special election on April 21st. Vote no to stop the left-wing radicals. Vote no to stop the liberal takeover of Virginia's seats in Congress. Vote no to stop higher taxes, open borders, and anti-gun policies. Vote no by April 21st. Paid for by Virginians for Fair Maps RC.
How much did you win at Rosie's Gaming Emporium?
Hi, I'm Jerry from Richmond. I won a $23,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Newport News, and I just won a $5,400 jackpot from Rosie's.
Hi, my name is Kim, and I'm from West Virginia, and I won $99,000 jackpot at Rosie's.
Are you ready? Learn more about Rosie's rewards and jackpots at rosiesgaming.com. Must be 18 or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-888-532-3500.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions and you will destroy your life. Listen to The Flatline with your host, Rick Hughes, every Sunday morning on the John Fredericks Radio Network. The Flatline describes a main line of resistance in your soul, built on God's Word. Join us every Sunday morning for 30 minutes of inspiration, motivation, and education, all without manipulation. That's The Flatline with Rick Hughes, heard here every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. on the John Fredericks Radio Network.
We're called the volunteer state for a reason. Tennesseans show up for their neighbors, their communities, their kids. So when President Trump heard the calls of parents,
we're fighting for school choice, the civil rights statement of the decade.
Tennessee responded.
Governor Lee has signed education freedom scholarships,
empowering parents to use their own tax dollars to pay for a school that best fits their child's needs. Today, Education Freedom Scholarships are serving 20,000 students, but thousands more are still locked out. Governor Lee is pushing to open Education Freedom Scholarships to all Tennessee families, putting every parent in the driver's seat of their children's education. But we must put an end to the wait, because in the volunteer state, we don't leave anyone on the sidelines. The time to open doors for Tennessee families is here and now. It's time to empower every kid. Yes, every kid. Paid for by Yes Every Kid.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumber yard for $200 in hidden charges, and D.T. McCall & Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We are joined on our Newsmaker line right now, our Zoom Newsmaker line, by the great Tom Pappert, Dow Prize Award winner, along with yours truly, and our executive editor, Christina Botteri, and our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network. Tom, you and I were talking yesterday about this story that, I mean, it's hard to believe that a purported news outlet has turned into a propaganda arm of CARE and is promoting Islam through its publication, and clearly trying to cover up for what looks to be a likely violation by Metro Nashville Public Schools of the First Amendment's prohibition of the establishment of religion clause. Now that's a mouthful, but let's first describe the Nashville Banner. This is the name of what used to be kind of the afternoon newspaper here, and the name was taken over by this nonprofit funded with millions of dollars by, well-off Nashville lefties. and they purport to be nonpartisan. Let's just talk about the story itself first, and then we'll get into Metro Nashville Public Schools. And I think it's a likely violation of the First Amendment, the way they're promoting Islam in Overton High School here in Metro Nashville, a public high school. I'm going to read the headline of this story and then the subtitle, and then I'm just going to get your reaction to the story itself as a, quote, journalistic effort. Here's the headline. During Ramadan, Muslim students find peace, discipline, and community. At John Overton High School, students have taken the lead and found support from a diverse staff. Okay, that's the setup for the article. When you read the article, were you confused and thought this was a propaganda piece from CARE?
Well, Michael, it's good to be here. And when I read the article, my first thought was, this is what the young people call a self-report. The school is telling on itself here. And the news publication, the Nashville Banner, was apparently totally ignorant to the significance and the gravity of what they were publishing.
Yeah, the author, Lillian Avadian, I don't know who she is, but, the way this is the way the left does it. They get some guilty liberals and NGOs to pour money into a nonprofit, and then they hire all these leftist journalists. Let me just read the very beginning of it, okay? I've never seen a news story like this. Quote, "It was a Wednesday morning partway through the month of Ramadan, and many of John Overton High School's Muslim students had been awake since 4:30 a.m. These students had been fasting every day for more than a week and woke up in the time for suhoor, the last chance to eat and drink before the sun rises. Some chose foods that are hydrating, like watermelon or cucumber, so they could withstand not drinking any water again until the sun sets. Others just ate a couple of dates. After breakfast, it was time for the first of 5 prayers of the day. Many students prayed together with their families, a chance to be together and share a spiritual connection before parting ways for school or work. Some went back to sleep briefly before heading to Overton High School, the public high school in Nashville, for the 7 a.m. bell. In one first period English class with several Muslim students, other students had paper bowls on their desks filled with cereal or cookies, as well as cartons of apple juice or milk. At this point in the day, the students who were fasting felt fine, but later their hunger and thirst would start to settle in. They might feel absent-minded or struggle to focus in class or stay awake. It sounds like a soap opera.
Well, it is very like something you would read in an NPR piece. The setup before one of their radio personalities comes on with a very unique and NPR voice to tell you about the difficulties of being a Muslim student in an American high school. But I think that this sort of stream of conscious writing is beneficial to what the Nashville Banner and what these leftist nonprofits love to do, which is create a narrative. And in this case, it's an interesting narrative in that it shares so many bombshell facts and potential allegations that, again, I don't think simply they understood what they were publishing. Because throughout this piece, you're about to get into it, I'm sure, because it's like the next line from where you just left off. They describe faculty members, staff members. They describe the entire the entire school administration seemingly all involved in an effort to help Muslims feel comfortable during the month of Ramadan. They leave the lights on in classrooms. They have a special prayer time where they can all meet for 15 minutes a day, where there's a faculty member there. They have 10 faculty members who sign up that their classrooms can be used as a food-free zone during lunch. And then, Michael, at the bottom of this, they add a spokesman for the school said these are all student-led activities. It almost is as if they knew what they did, they knew what they published. The stream of conscious narrative is going to, in a very bad way, bring attention to that school, and they had to throw in a line to ameliorate their concerns.
Yeah. And there's a teacher. They talk about how the teachers are helping them out. I'll read more from Revis Barwari's connection to her students is clear in her classroom decorations. One wall is covered with photos she's taken with her students and another with drawings students have gifted her. There's a map of Kurdistan above her desk and a box of prayer mats in the corner that students often borrow to pray at school. She also has string lights, yet as students settled in for the third period at 10:30 a.m., the overhead lights were on. She explains she keeps all the lights on throughout Ramadan because she knows the students are tired. If the lights are off, they'll fall asleep. Still, one student, Dylan Oddmark, has his head down at one point during class. It's hard for me to just try to keep energy up. If I wasn't in school, I would be asleep right now. Your body's so deprived of nutrients. Another student, Awar Kurame, concurred, adding it's hard to talk to people at school while dehydrated. Now, they go on. Let me just read this. Barwari is one of 10 teachers who signed up to, quote, offer her classroom as a food-free zone during lunchtime. Jenna Hagengruber, the school's director of activities, created a sign-up sheet for teachers so that students who are fasting would not have to sit in the cafeteria and watch their peers eat. It's one of several accommodations arranged by the administration for Muslim students. The school has also reserved space on campus where students can pray in the afternoon, since one of the 5 daily prayers falls during the school day. Hagenbrugger created a sign-up sheet for students to receive electronic hall passes, granting them permission to leave class 15 minutes to pray. More than 80 students signed up. For Barwari, the teacher, witnessing these accommodations is a full circle moment. She recalled growing up attending a public school in Nashville with a small Muslim population and hiding the fact that she was fasting from her peers. Yeah, this is Al-Nadir Muhammad is in charge of overseeing the daily prayer. He's a member of the support staff and, like Barwari, a Muslim adult on campus to whom students can turn for guidance and support. Okay, so this is likely unconstitutional, Tom. We talked about this as well. Your thoughts?
Well, Michael, there's so many questions to ask here. I've got so far, I think, 12 or 15 questions that I'm getting ready to ask the school in Metro Nashville Public Schools, because why is there a faculty member in this prayer room where 80 students have been given permission by the school? Who is this individual who created the listing for 10 classrooms that are going to be food-free zones? In other words, is this the school creating these ideas, coming up with the plans and enacting them and calling it an accommodation, or is this student-led? If this is an accommodation, by the way, we were just been doing another religious period, the Holy Week. We had Lent for the Catholics, for the Lutherans, for the Anglicans, for most Christians. They were celebrating Lent in various ways. Were Catholic students given a special time and accommodation to pray? Did the school make sure that there would not be meat served on Friday? Or is this the establishment of Islam as an official religion at a Metro Nashville public school?
Yeah, it looks like the latter. And there are a number of Supreme Court cases, and we'll get to the cases in a bit, but if you provide, here's where the law stands right now. After like 5 or 6 Supreme Court cases, we'll talk about it. Basically, if the prayer space is student initiated and voluntary, it's constitutional. It's not student initiated. This is led by a Metro Nashville public school employee. We don't know if the space is exclusively used for prayer. It may well be. If it is, it's unconstitutional. Is it available? Is that space available neutrally to students of all faiths? If not, it's unconstitutional. Does it impose a material burden on the school day for other students? I think it does. That would make it unconstitutional. If the school officials lead or promote or coerce participation, sounds like that's the case here. And can you imagine the intimidation that a non-Muslim student has going on right now? When we at John Overton Public High School, Tom, when we come back, we'll go through these Supreme Court cases and wonder, will any of the children there who have a legitimate claim have the courage and support to challenge this in court? Back with Tom Pappert after this.
Hey folks, Al Green here for Sat Phone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need Sat Phone. Sat phones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your Sat phone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now.
What happens in Virginia doesn't stay in Virginia. It influences policy and policymakers nationwide. The VirginiaStar.com shines a light on the issues in VA that become issues for the USA, with insightful commentary that gets to the fact of the matter. The VirginiaStar.com is your source of wisdom and truth, locally, statewide, and nationally. Log on today and every day. The VirginiaStar.com. The VirginiaStar.com.
When you're learning something new, experience matters. At Lifestyles Unlimited, we've spent over 30 years teaching people how real estate investing works and how to build income with a clear, step-by-step strategy. Our program is designed to help you learn what to do, why it works, and how to take action at your own pace. Join today for just $297, a 60% savings off the regular price. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Hey folks, Al Green here for Sat Phone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need Sat Phone. Sat phones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your Sat phone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your sat phone. Call now.
Congratulations to my friend Michael Patrick Leahy on 9 years of journalistic excellence. I'm Lenny McGill, owner and founder of the Glock Store here in Nashville, Tennessee, and a proud sponsor of Michael Patrick Leahy's Tennessee Star Network for over 5 years. When we started, he was on just one local station. Now, he's on 20 stations. His motto, find the truth and report it. And as long as he sticks to that, we'll stick to being a sponsor. And next year, Michael, let's have a party for you right here at the Glock Store.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Our guest, Tom Pappert, our lead political reporter. Tom, you know, in my constitutional law class, literally this week, we studied religious liberty and the First Amendment. And here are some of the cases that are directly applicable to this John Overton High School situation. Engel v. Vitale, 1962. The court struck down a New York State composed teacher-led prayer recited at the start of each school day. 1963, Abingdon School District v. Shemp. The court invalidated mandatory Bible readings. Lee v. Weissman, 1992. A rabbi-led prayer at a middle school graduation was ruled coercive and violative of the Establishment Clause. Santa Fe Independent School District v. Doe. The court invalidated a policy allowing student-elected invocations or prayers over the loudspeaker before high school football games. Then in Kennedy v. Bremerton School, the high school teacher who was fired for praying at the 50-yard line after football games, that was declared a violation of his religious liberty. But the current guidance from the U.S. Department of Education after that ruling, students may pray privately or in groups during non-instructional time on the same terms as other non-religious activities. Doesn't apply here. Schools may excuse students briefly for prayer if it does not materially disrupt operations or burden others. I think that doesn't fit here as well. And religious excuses cannot be treated less favorably than non-religious ones. Imagine, if you will, the disruption and the intimidation of non-Muslim students going on with this at John Overton High School. Your thoughts on that, Tom Pappert?
Well, we know that there's apparently 80 students that have signed up to be allowed out of class for 15 minutes to go and enjoy this Ramadan prayer session where they have, again, a staff member supervising them. We know that the sign-up sheets for their food-free classrooms were apparently created at the behest of staff members. We know essentially that this guidance from the Department of Education may not be being followed, certainly not to the letter, it would seem, by the school. And I would further add, Michael, that talking about intimidation, it may be even just as simple as favoritism. If you have the entire school where a teacher says the school has made an effort for the entire student body to know and understand that it's Ramadan and here's what it means, is the school, again, favoring one particular religion and instructing its students that this is essentially the correct one? This is the one the school bends over backwards to accommodate. Yours that you go to on Sunday doesn't really matter.
Yeah, exactly right. Have they done the same kind of things for the Easter message, for instance, for Christian students and Catholic students there? I don't think so. I think, look, you know how this works. They are intimidating and coercing, it seems to me, non-Muslim students in that school to look at Islam as the preferred religion because it's getting this special treatment from Metro Nashville Public School administrators and employees. Now, here's my question for you. This is a religious liberty First Amendment case waiting to be filed. But to file a case like this, you need a plaintiff who has standing. Now, a non-Muslim student at John Overton High School has standing. My question to you is, do you think they're going to be intimidated from filing such a lawsuit just by the clear, obvious support of Islam as a preferred religion, seems to me, by Metro Nashville Public Schools?
Well, yes, I certainly, that would be my opinion, that they would be, because as you point out, this is not just one high school. This is Metro Nashville Public Schools. This is the entirety of Metro Nashville, Davidson County. A parent, in order to take on this challenge, even if their student is like a devout Christian who says that this is wrong and they want to challenge it, the parent has to consider what they're going to do with their student. Do you stay in the district? Is your son or daughter going to face retaliation from students, teachers, administrators, etc.? Are you going to go to a private school? Is that going to jeopardize the lawsuit? This would be a very uphill battle, Michael, and I think that as this story erupts, there may be other avenues. Perhaps Congress will want to get involved. Perhaps the General Assembly will have something to say.
I can guarantee you that any student, non-Muslim student at Overton Public High School, who were to file a lawsuit claiming that this is a violation, this support of Islam by Metro Nashville Public Schools at the expense of Christianity or any other religions, they're going to claim that's not the case. But read the story, see what they're doing. clearly that's obviously what's going on. I can guarantee you any student will be retaliated against and intimidated and bullied by the establishment there of Metro Nashville Public Schools. Look, I think they would win the case, but at what cost? And I think the personal cost would be very, very high for this. Your final thoughts on this, Tom Pappert. Where's this going to go?
Well, another thing to consider, Michael, is if a student, say a freshman, sophomore, junior in high school, by the time this case was fully litigated, there's a real chance this person could be a college student or even a little bit further. Yeah. But again, I think that as this story gets more attention, this is not going to go away, and this is going to become a serious concern for Metro Nashville Public Schools, because even beyond the student body, they are going to be getting attention from news outlets like this and from other conservatives. Tom
Pappert, well said. Thanks for joining us today. Good work, and we look forward to seeing your story on this. Up next, the one, the only, Aaron Goldmanson, official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, will be here in studio with us. Everything Tennessee General Assembly. They are crashing and towards the end, and we'll see all the details back after this.
The Truth with John Gordon.
A strong argument can be made that we need a certain number of illegal immigrants to work menial and in some cases dangerous jobs.
Get all the truth you can handle and more.
Immigrants seem willing to do those jobs. American workers do not.
What?
I'm sorry, I just call them like I see them, folks.
Saturday, noon Eastern, 11 Central, on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
I tell you the truth as best I know it.
Okay!
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun.
WENO Nashville, KQPN West Memphis. News Talk, AM 760, AM 730, The Flame.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine is encouraged by this week's ceasefire with Iran.
I hope the ceasefire is going to hold and be transformed into a permanent cessation of hostilities with Iran giving up finally its nuclear ambitions and its sponsorship of terrorist groups all over the world.
Senator Collins spoke with the Salem radio network. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he has authorized direct negotiations with Lebanon as soon as possible. He says he gave the order in response to requests from Lebanon. Britain's top diplomat is rejecting Iran's push to charge ships to travel through the Strait of Hormuz.
This is crucial for the global economy and for tackling the cost of living pressures here at home. And no country should be allowed to hijack these international shipping routes that impact the entire world and the entire world's economy.
That's UK Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper. Now hurtling home from the moon, the Artemis II astronauts took a poignant page from Apollo 8 this week, proposing deeply personal names for a pair of lunar craters they saw on their journey. Artemis II Commander Reed Weissman says he appreciates the other astronauts asking permission to name one of those craters for his late wife, Carol.
My crewmates
approached me when we were at Kennedy in quarantine, and they said, hey, the three of them had talked and they would like to do this. And that was an emotional moment for me. And I just thought that was just a total treasure that they had thought through this and they had offered this.
Weissman's wife, Carol, was a neonatal nurse who died of cancer back in 2020 during the Apollo 8 mission back in 1968. Astronaut Jim Lovell bestowed his wife's name upon a prominent lunar peak. To this day, it's known as Mount Maryland. More from townhall.com.
You're not just overweight, you're in survival mode. No pill or crash diet's going to fix that. They don't address why your body is storing fat. At PhD Weight Loss, they treat unwanted weight as a symptom, a signal that your metabolism, hormones, and stress response need attention. Fix that, and the weight comes off naturally. Call PhD Weight Loss, mention Mike G, you'll get 2 weeks free, and they'll pay for your food. Call 864-644-1900, 864-644-1900, mention Mike G, or go to myphdweightloss.com.
Americans have a big healthcare problem. Over 100 million citizens carry medical debt while paying for overpriced and complicated health insurance. As Christians, we don't have to pay for a broken system. Christian Healthcare Ministries is an alternative to health insurance at half the cost. Plus, you can enroll at any time. Stand up to health insurance with a biblical solution. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
Here's Rich Thomason now with the Midday Wall Street Business Report.
Oil prices have moved higher, and Wall Street is seeing modest losses on skepticism over the fragile ceasefire deal between the U.S. and Iran. Doubts about the durability of the ceasefire arose just hours after the announcement, as a round of intense Israeli airstrikes on Lebanon killed and injured hundreds. Iran again closed the Strait of Hormuz in response to the attacks in Lebanon, and oil prices rose to just under $100 per barrel. At their March policy meeting, more Federal Reserve policymakers indicated a willingness to consider an interest rate hike this year as higher gas prices threaten to ignite inflation. That's insight from newly released minutes of the Fed's meeting last month. Looking to decrease its reliance on American natural gas, Mexico's government is looking into adopting fracking technology. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
You'll find breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. A man is under arrest for the disappearance of his wife in the Bahamas.
Officials say 55-year-old Lynette Hooker and her husband Brian Hooker were traveling from Hopetown to Elbow Cay Saturday when, according to the husband, his wife fell overboard with the boat's keys, causing the engine to turn off. Police say strong currents carried the woman away. Lynette Hooker's daughter, Carly Aylesworth, tells NBC News her mom was an experienced sailor and that it's unlikely she would just fall off the boat. She also says the couple had a history of not getting along, especially when drinking. I'm Donna Warder.
Also, oil prices climbing now back toward $100 per barrel, and stocks not quite as enthusiastic as they were yesterday when they saw enormous gains. At this hour, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up by 113 points, the Nasdaq up by 102, and the S&P 500 is up 25. More of these stories at townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are delighted to welcome to our microphones the official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, the executive director of the Tennessee Conservative Coalition, and our man on Capitol Hill, Tennessee General Assembly here in Nashville, the one, the only, Aaron Gulbertson.
How are you?
Good morning. I am delighted you are here because, as we were saying just before we went back on the air, things have been happening fast and furious at the Tennessee General Assembly. It's so fast, it's hard to keep up with them.
Well, they're trying to wrap up. So, I mean, and the Senate has moved at a lightning fast pace, and I think the House has a bit to do to catch up, but we're pretty close to the end game now.
I think that's right. Okay, what's the big news from this week in terms of movement on key bills?
I mean, you've got the Education Freedom Scholarship expansion, negotiations going around about that.
Okay, so
it's sitting in finance, I believe now, is the latest.
The thing I've seen on that is that in the House, they wanted to go from 20,000 scholarships a year out of roughly 1 million K-12 students to they've reduced it to 35,000 in the House. In the Senate, I saw that they're still at 40,000. Why is the House going for a slightly smaller number, and where are we going to end up?
My understanding is that's where the votes are on the committee. But obviously, once you get, all right, let's talk about what we're really talking about.
What are we
this
really talking about?
This weekend, the principals are all gathering as they do every single year to discuss the budget, and there are meetings that happen over the weekend between leadership, the committee chairman, and that sort of thing that happened over the weekend, and sometimes it gets a little tense, but they basically iron out what the General Assembly budget is going to be. And, obviously during any negotiations, the House may have a slightly different position than the Senate and vice versa, but assuming they work it out, you could very well see, let's just say how this could possibly happen, to get to 40,000. Now, as a proponent of no cap on this, I'm just happy to see an increase one way or the other. So, just to be clear, getting to 35,000 education freedom scholarships is still significant progress, right?
Yeah, no. It's a matter of just
but you
degree
could very well see a different version passed on the House floor and the Senate floor, and it goes to conference, or if the Senate passes it first and it gets sent to the House, essentially, the House could motion to substitute and conform, and if it passes the House floor, then it's 40,000 scholarships.
Okay, now here we go.
The opposite could happen too, right?
We've got a little legislative lingo there.
Yes. Substitute and conform means that the House bill becomes a Senate bill, in this case, in this example I'm using.
That's an easier way to get things done sometimes, isn't it?
Yes. So occasionally, if you have a little disagreement amongst one committee, you pass the one committee version and it gets to the floor, and then you can do things. So we'll see. I mean, I know that one of the members of the Finance Committee has expressed concerns about the size of the Education Freedom Scholarship expansion, and that is a fairly significant member. So I don't know if it's public, so I'm not ratting anybody out yet. So
yeah.
But
okay, that makes sense.
At the end of the day, that's what they're doing, right? They're posturing right now. Here's the one fun thing. The reality is, if these negotiations go exceedingly well, and they never do this, so this is a pipe dream, they could literally probably push it so that they got out next Friday. That's
a week from tomorrow.
Yes. They don't like ending session on Friday, so that's not going to happen. So it looks like we're talking about ending session on the week of the 20th.
The week of the 20th, which would be,
21st, 22nd, 23rd, something like that.
Yeah.
Because also, once you get through everything, then you have to have 3 days worth of, essentially pageant shows on the floors of both the House and the Senate. And
it's tradition.
Yes, to adjourn sine die, because that is the way you have to pass it, the resolution to adjourn.
Sine die,
yeah.
A great Latin phrase.
And by the way, I have to say that they are far more tamer in this capital when they adjourn versus when they adjourn in the capital of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Richmond. So, yeah.
Where you have a little bit of experience. So
just a little.
Just a little bit.
12, 13 years is nothing.
So what we're looking at most likely is that 2 weeks from today, it is likely by 2 weeks from today that they will have adjourned sine die.
Yeah,
right?
So what you're seeing right now is a lot of bills that are moving through the process that have fiscal notes. You're seeing the ones that are probably either winding up on the cutting room floor, or as a result of this weekend's negotiations getting funded, right? So we could talk about the individual bills that are a little, more controversial here and there, but that is really what we're talking about. Are the funds there to fund legislation that has fiscal notes?
You look at the Tennessee General Assembly, and it seems like what you've got is like two freight trains moving rapidly down the tracks next to each other, kind of parallel to each other, with like a little bridge at the very top where the leaders are talking back and forth. That's kind of what it looks like. And from our perspective here, just watching all of this, it's pretty breakneck pace for a lot of these bills. And the other thing that I notice is that, once these two freight trains are running down the tracks, people think, oh, yeah, if only they would do X, Y, or Z. 2 weeks prior to, the sine die closing of the session, that's not the time to really, set forward a new agenda.
No.
Yeah, there's
that's about the dumbest thing possible when somebody gets a brilliant idea at this point in time.
It's if you get a brilliant idea at this point in time, this is not the time to bring it up, is it?
No, this is...
They're making the sausage right now.
And honestly, yes, they're making the sausage, but it's not quite even that clandestine. It's just this is how a part-time governing body functions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing: you got all these different people, and some of them are good citizens, but then you get these groups out there that want proposals in the last minute, and it doesn't matter what side of the aisle or what they're, and then it's just like they almost want to act as if the General Assembly is a full-time body, and thank God they're not. We'd be in better shape if the U.S. Congress was a part-time body.
Absolutely, we would.
But and so it's just there's a lot of ignorance that goes on. I mean, everybody, because of the internet age and social media and the 24-hour news cycle, which started a zillion years ago at this point, thinks that they're an amateur political observer, or thinks it makes them a professional political observer.
Well, because they read what they read. Here in Tennessee. I mean, the conservatives read the Tennessee Star.
Yes.
I don't know. Does anybody read the Tennessean these days? I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. Whenever an op-ed's published, I read it, but it's usually
other than
published
that,
under my name.
I think our traffic is better than the Tennessean. Now the National Banner's gone crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy leftists. But people just read stuff, and then some people read stuff online in various posts, and it's awfully difficult to really determine what's really going on.
Well, and a lot of the stuff, honestly, and it's been this way in one form or another for generations, but, they're reading stuff that enhances their confirmation bias. They're not looking to find... So, if you think that there's this evil conspiracy to stop constitutional rights in some form or fashion, that's not the case. But, you got a lot of people raising money, too, and they use all these mediums to advance their agenda, and then the average person. I mean, I'll tell you, those of you who are uneducated, you're listening to this show, you are educated. But the only thing dumber than one voter is a group of them. And that's a sad commentary on the state of affairs we have.
Oh, my goodness. Said like a true political consultant who has a certain worldview. Back with more after this. Look, I got a couple of other bills I have to ask you about. Pharmacy benefit management, and also immigration stuff. Lots of stuff there. Back with Aaron Goldberson after this.
Hi, folks. John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just one scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Okay, Aaron Goldmanson, dying to find out the inside scoop on actually 3 bills. And where does everything stand? So, I don't know, with this whole pharmacy benefit management bill, which has been very much pushed by a number of good legislators who happen to also be independent pharmacists.
Yes.
And have decided that they don't want the competition from large out-of-state companies that manage not just independent retail outlets, but also are what's called pharmacy benefit managers. And so they've introduced a bill that would, in essence, outlaw and prohibit out-of-state companies from owning pharmacy benefit management and retailers. You've seen so many ads from CVS saying, oh my goodness, if this bill passes, we'll have to shut down all of our CVS pharmacies. Where does this bill stand?
It is, first of all, it appears as if the votes are there in the Senate to pass it, like 18 or 19 votes.
Mm-hmm.
It's with the Senate Calendar Committee. No vote has been scheduled for this. If you're following along at home, this is SB 2040 and the House is HB 1959. In the House, it has been placed behind the budget and it is on the subcommittee calendar for Finance, Ways and Means subcommittee for the 14th.
I think it's going to pass.
Which is my sister's birthday. So
I think it's going to pass.
I think it's going to pass, but the obvious elephant in the room is giant and orange, and the question is does the president weigh in publicly or his team weigh in
between
publicly?
now and the end of the session?
Because I highlight the need to make sure that the president is okay with it because it does affect Trump RX, which is a big program championed by the president and his team.
And I think most analysts think it's going to negatively impact Trump RX.
Now the latest,
that's the argument.
Now the latest development is, Arkansas basically passed the same dang bill, and a federal court, a federal court decision, continued it was appealed, but it was blocked. Then it was appealed, the blocking of it, and I think it was reaffirmed. So I mean, this is a legal.
The injunction stopping it was it was affirmed. Now I didn't know that, but it does make. Let me just say this because I'll talk again about my constitutional law class. It is black letter law.
Yeah.
That you cannot treat a state legislature cannot treat an out-of-state company differently on matters of economics than it can in-state companies.
Right.
There are no in-state pharmacy benefit managers.
Yeah.
And as a consequence, This is facially discriminatory against out-of-state companies, and therefore, a black letter law would be deemed by courts unconstitutional.
And here's the thing. I mean, and I would say this to the sponsor's face. I think if you're going to do anything this complicated, you don't try to do it all at once.
Yeah.
There's obviously layers of legal landmines that, and I think you're right. I think it's blatantly unconstitutional. The fact that basically there is this much pushback but this much, they're trying to devour a whale all at once, and I think it looks like there's the votes to pass it, but then you're going to have the legal consequences, which are negative.
So it's interesting because, we hear from all these guys that they want to, advertise with us, and to tell your state legislator to vote against this. It's a little bit late, guys, because let me just say, all of these guys, this is like my view of it. There's a lot of horse trading going on.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're almost at the finish line. They're not really open to, deep conversations they're not open to political pressure at this point. It seems to me.
I would put it another way. If I were any type of issue I see arising in the future, let's just say I hear some things that may go on in the next session.
Yes.
I talk about them now.
Yes.
I talk about them. You take a little break while all the legislators are running for office again in the August primaries, or they're campaigning for their compadres when they don't have opposition. Then you check in with them in the fall and you make sure where the landmines are and what you're trying to influence and that sort of thing. But yeah, this is a little late.
Well, not only that, there's one way.
Or somebody got caught with their pants down since I'm not going to censor myself.
Boom.
But yeah.
But there's one way. There's really only one option. And I keep telling these guys, but they don't seem to be listening. But that is.
Well, Michael, when you offer a nickel's worth of free advice,
boom.
You
are so right about that. But I said, look, this is likely to pass. Even though it's unconstitutional. And the governor's likely to sign it. Likely, asterisk. That's the point right now where they could have a bit of some pressure for two reasons. Number one, the president doesn't like it. Clearly. Now, will he kind of call it out? I don't know. But this is going to tie up the Tennessee Attorney General's office for years. Mm-hmm. And it's a losing case. This is not the way to do it, it would seem to me. Now, if they were to point that out and it would come to the attention of the governor, has he ever vetoed a bill, ever?
Before this session, he vetoed one. This session, I think he's vetoed a couple.
Have they been overridden or have they been?
The first one, I think they forgot to override, and I'm not really kidding here. I think
yeah.
I don't think it was important enough.
There you go. It's not.
But there was a bus thing that the governor just vetoed. I don't know. It's interesting. This is the last year of the governor, right?
Yeah. So there's no political pushback on him, and so he can do what he wants to on it. And now in Tennessee, this is why structurally we have a quote weak governor, and the reason is because the Tennessee General Assembly can override a veto with just a majority in each house.
Yeah, if you can pass the bill, you can override the governor's veto.
Right. But, there are a number. I mean, look, here we are. If the bill gets passed, think about this. If the bill gets passed like, a day before they adjourn, then there's this whole process.
Yep.
What would he do if he were to veto it after they were out of session? Would they come back for a session? I don't think so.
This is true.
I mean, you're getting into the weeds on this.
I mean, again, Tennessee is very interesting in the way they do things. I mean, other states have what they call specifically a veto session that's pre-scheduled,
right?
Where whatever.
Don't have that here.
All the vetoes get addressed in 1 or 2 days.
But I don't know. I mean, I've not talked to the governor about this.
I have
or
not
staff.
either.
I don't know where he stands on it. I do think, though.
I think the tea leaves read that they thought that the fiscal note was low, but it's also behind the budget now. So I have to say, whatever's going on in the finance meetings, the PBM bill with its fiscal note and probably the real number it's going to cost is being discussed. So we'll see.
We'll see. Okay, so let's talk about a couple things. Is the Tennessee General Assembly going to pass a bill that takes over the Memphis Shelby County school system for 3 years?
I know there's been momentum behind it. I haven't really dipped in on that one, to be perfectly honest with you. They certainly need to.
I talked to the sponsor there, State Senator Brent Taylor, who tells me he believes it's going to pass. Because
if Brent says that, I would agree with him then, because he's very, very smart.
Let me just say this about Brent Taylor. There's a guy with intelligence, but not just intelligence in the abstract sense. The guy knows how to get things done.
Yes,
and he has courage.
Yeah.
He has courage, and he's done a great job.
By the way, on a fun note, the other day, I finally got to be presented with one of those Make Memphis Matter hats that he gives out to people. So I say this lovingly. I was dragged into his office for a little taping that he did with one of my friends for his social media, and then afterwards he looked at me and he goes, "You have one of these hats?" I said, "No," and he goes, "Here you go." I was like, "Okay."
So I have a prediction about who we might have a little social media engagement with going forward.
Okay.
Did you see LeBron James? LeBron James was playing golf and he dissed Memphis.
Yes, I did see that, actually. He wants the Grizzlies to move to Nashville.
So why is LeBron James dissing Memphis?
Because LeBron James is stupid. LeBron James goes, "I don't like the city. It's crime-ridden, blah, blah, blah." But, then he endorses every Democrat under the sun, and he's woker than...
Yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah, there's something else going on.
He's woker than Sotomayor's spiritual advisor.
I don't think that was unintentional.
No, he was trying to flex his muscle, and for whatever reason he wants to say, there could be a business reason in it for him. Who knows? Maybe he wants to be co-owner of the Grizzlies at some point in time. But
see,
for as many things as can be said about LeBron James, the most true of all of them is he is not Michael Jordan.
He is not. And the other thing about this is, actually, if you want to make Memphis matter, you want to keep and grow the NBA team there. Really. It's an NBA city.
Yeah.
Nashville is not an NBA city, it seems to me.
No, I would agree.
When we come back, we'll do a little bit of midterm political prognostication. Aaron will. And I'll throw him the softballs. Back after this.
Everyone, EJ Haast here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
We're called the volunteer state for a reason. Tennesseans show up for their neighbors, their communities, their kids. So when President Trump heard the calls of parents,
we're fighting for school choice, the civil rights statement of the decade.
Tennessee responded.
Governor Lee has signed education freedom scholarships,
empowering parents to use their own tax dollars to pay for a school that best fits their child's needs. Today, education freedom scholarships are serving 20,000 students, but thousands more are still locked out. Governor Lee is pushing to open education freedom scholarships to all Tennessee families, putting every parent in the driver's seat of their children's education. But we must put an end to the wait, because in the volunteer state, we don't leave anyone on the sidelines. The time to open doors for Tennessee families is here and now. It's time to empower every kid. Yes, every kid. Paid for by Yes, Every Kid.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We are joined in studio by the executive director of the Tennessee Conservative Coalition and official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, Aaron Gulbertson. Well, midterms are coming, and let's talk about Tennessee. We've got a few races here going on. Got a governor's race. It doesn't look like there's much of a race there, right? Marsha Blackburn is way ahead in the polls, and I'm not seeing anything.
Her
from
official title is Senator Marsha Blackburn, Governor in Waiting. I mean, it's the John Rose campaign is literally just the Chris Devaney retirement account expansion fund. So
I'm not seeing much from John Rose,
and I like Chris actually. It's just funny needling him because I mean I can't. Here's the thing: there are consultants that run campaigns that go, "I want to make as much money as I can, keep them going as long," and you know, then there's people like me that are dumb enough to donate to their own congressional campaigns that they did.
No, it's an active, it's an active support. But
no,
so I've not. I mean, I he has no message.
No, there's no. All kidding aside, seriously, I mean, John Rose has no path. He's a very nice guy. Every time I see him at an event, I honestly pity the man because he has no chance. Listen, the Senator Blackburn. All right, I enjoy observing and putting people in their place in history and understanding that. If you don't understand that U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn, the governor in waiting, is the greatest political story over the last 100 years in this state, this is a woman
she was
who
really
worked her way up. Yeah,
but also the person, probably this. If you had to say who is most responsible for the fact that we have no state income tax in Tennessee, it's really Marsha.
Yeah, and she destroyed Backpage. There's a number of things that she's done, but this is literally a person that has worked their way up. state Senate, U.S. House, U.S. Senate, now governor, and is also in a position to make history as the first female governor ever. But this is like a lifetime of building blocks, right? John Rose doesn't matter how much money he has. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that connection with the people. And the funny thing is while most people in politics you usually wind up referring to by their title, right? Governor Lee. Marcia is Marcia. That is how everyone in the whole state knows her. It's Marcia.
If you go to Mountain City, in the far northeastern corner, and you say, "Hey, I was talking with Marcia the other day,"
yes,
and they'll know it's Senator Marcia Blackburn.
And so nobody in this entire state has anywhere near a connection with the voters that Marcia Blackburn has. And John Rose does not. And then little bitty Monty Fritz doesn't have connection with reality.
So it's the last polls had her up by 51 points in the August primary. Look, I guess the only thing that is really in doubt is whether or not Monty Fritz will get more votes than John Rose.
Yeah, that's
in
the
a
only
distant second.
That's the only thing in question about this race.
Yeah.
And it's just, not only has she worked hard and worked her way up, she's accomplished a ton. She'll be a great governor. She's a strong conservative, and she's the person in the great state of Tennessee that President Donald J. Trump cares about that person's opinion the most, and her name is Senator Marcia Blackburn.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people out there spewing a little misinformation here and there. I'm going to call it right now. It is my opinion that Donald Trump is endorsing Marcia Blackburn.
Yeah.
And he's basically done that anyway with various public statements.
Sure.
But there is no path. I mean, and by the way, as we're having this conversation, our friend U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty is sitting around going, I don't even have an opponent, so this is just vacation time for me.
By the way, just as an aside, I'm almost tempted to ask John Rose the same question that I asked James Rosen in a Michael Patrick Leahy interview, because he's a obsessive Beatles fan, and I started the interview saying, "Look, you were 2 years old when the Beatles broke up, James, but you're obsessed with the Beatles." And I started the interview, "James, please tell me why," right?
Yeah,
the classic Beatles song, and I think we might ask the same question of John Rose. Tell me why, John, that you're...
And since you've invoked the Beatles here, what is his answer going to be? We all live in the yellow submarine. I mean, that's going to be about as nonsensical as the lyrics to that song.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't figure it out. But, he voted well as a congressman in the 6th District. Yep. Nice guy, successful business guy, but just there's no path. Okay. The 6th District, congressional district. These are all, by the way, August... first week of August primaries, GOP.
Johnny Garrett.
Well, Johnny, it's interesting, is actually running a campaign. We get press releases from him all the time. He hasn't been in studio because he's busy doing the General Assembly thing, right? Because he's a state rep there. But he'll be in studio after the session's over. Van Hillary, nice guy. We talked to him. I have a friendly relationship with Van. I don't see anything from his campaign.
Van Hillary is a very nice guy that I've met in passing several different times, but he's a Bush-era establishment politician.
Yeah.
Let's be clear here.
You can't get over that.
His heyday is Bush-era. So you're 20 years too late, and you're trying to go back to the spot you once had, and it just doesn't work.
The famous Thomas Wolfe from Asheville, North Carolina, wrote a famous book called You Can't Go Home Again.
Yeah.
You can't go back to Congress again is I think, the corollary in modern era. Okay, so let's see. Anything else in terms of congressional primary? You got to go the obligatory Democrat primary in the 9th District, Memphis. The very old white guy, liberal there, Steve Cohen, who has represented a majority black district for, a couple decades, is challenged by Justin Pearson.
Yes.
Who is not entirely stable mentally.
You think he's going to get a haircut if he wins the primary and just go back to the way he looked in college?
No,
I mean, because you know the thing about Cohen, as much as I dislike everything he believes in and stands for, he's been consistent for 80 years, right? And his beliefs and all that. Pearson has flip-flopped back and forth. You know, he was trying to be a centrist when he was in college running for student body president. Then he grew his hair out. I mean, it's a performance thing. Now, that being said, he's probably, I do envision Justin Pearson probably winning that primary.
I do too.
And being the most feminine member of the squad edition. Quote me on that one. But, you know, and then, you know, probably seething for several years is going to be Justin Jones going, dang it, now I got to go move to Memphis. But, because, you know, he tried to run for Congress against Cooper at one point in time.
Long
Justin
time
Jones
ago.
did. And this is in 2020. And he can only get 24 of the 25 signatures he needed to get on the ballot.
So
he
this
got
is,
kicked.
Justin Pearson, actually, this is interesting because, you know, my friend Mark Pody, because he does these sort of things. It's like the honorary Kentucky colonel thing.
Yeah.
He did this joint Senate resolution recognizing yours truly for, you know, being a wonderful guy and doing conservative journalism and sponsoring the National Constitution Bee.
Yeah.
It passed unanimously in the House. It passed unanimously in the state Senate. There was one person who voted against it in the House.
Pearson.
Yes. And the governor signed it. Even the governor signed it. So how about that?
Well, that piece was made a while ago, Michael.
That's true. You're exactly right about that. But I found it interesting, you know. Okay, so let's talk about...
By the way, Senator Pody does have a opponent, and it's weird because Mark Pody's opponent is kind of a liberal, I don't like using the term, but I'm going to use it. A liberal Rhino Republican, but he's got the McShane group running his campaign, and they were the guys that used Proud Boys as door knockers on various campaigns.
I've not seen much about his campaign.
I see the signs driving around Wilson County a bit, and that's about it. But
that's about all I've seen,
And then I think Lamar Alexander was quoted saying something good about Pody's opponent.
Lamar Alexander in his dotage, shall we say.
Well, I think the proper response to that is, hey, Lamar, 2002 called. It's 2026. I wouldn't be... I'm staring at a fun sign right now, by the way, that says
here in
Beat
studio,
Lamar.
We have a sign from our 2014 project, the little political action committee called Beat Lamar. And we ended up endorsing Joe Carr. We did a lot of door-to-door with a bunch of kids.
Yep.
Some of them now working as aides in the Tennessee General Assembly.
Yep.
We've got that sign. Joe lost. Joe Carr lost.
Yeah.
49-40 in that primary a long time ago, but he's up for re-election and is likely to get it as a county mayor in Rutherford County. Okay, let's talk about, is there anything going on in the Tennessee General Assembly? Any challenges that of good guys, bad guys? What do you see?
I mean, honestly, the crop of candidates. I mean, there's Pody being opposed. There's Briggs, who apparently I'm not kidding, documented. Apparently, State Senator Briggs' opponent has some sort of like drug issue, and that's why he's running, and he's running on that as a platform for some reason.
Well, gee, that sounds like a great issue.
So you got that. You got our buddy State Senator Adam Lowe with two opponents, which, you know, when you're running against an incumbent, you know, the only thing that would have made it better for Senator Lowe would have been if he had 7 opponents, but 2, they'll split the vote and he'll win. In the state house, I mean, you know, the most interesting that happened recently, obviously, is the party threw Cade Cothran off the ballot for donating to Justin Pearson, Justin Jones, avowed socialist Democrats. And Cade Cothran, of course, with his big scandals and all that, pardoned by the president, but not pardoned from being a pervert. Dirty
Did you practice that line?
No, my best lines come off the top of my head.
That's a good line.
I've repeated this one now, but
that's a good line.
But he was, of course, trying to run against State Representative Kip Capley. Now, what's interesting is within the last week, I have it on my phone because they texted it out. They ran a poll to test Cade as a write-in against Capley, which I believe, if I remember correctly, you need 30 days before the primary to be a certified write-in. But I don't know, for the love of all that is good and holy, why even a disgraced political hack thinks his path to redemption is running as a write-in for state rep of all seats. No offense to all my good friends at state rep, but nothing short of statewide office would even tempt me remotely, which, Michael, if I ever talk about running for office, you have
I will restrain
permission
you.
to
I will restrain
run a
you.
sword through my heart, please.
I wouldn't do it that way.
Wow, he's contemplated killing me before.
Back to
I did not suicide myself, ladies and gentlemen.
Back with News Potpourri after this.
This is Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul Tea
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, Aaron Gulbranson, official guest host of the program, head of the Tennessee Conservative Coalition. Aaron, it's that time of day again. It's time for News Potpourri. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, News Potpourri. This is the portion of the program we talk about those stories that are of note, don't necessarily merit a full segment, and may have, just may have, a touch of
irony.
Well, here's one for you. A breaking story. Israel to hold peace talks with Lebanon, aiming at eliminating Hezbollah. That's kind of interesting. We'll see how that plays out in the, quote, fragile, end quote, ceasefire. That may or may not be a ceasefire. You know who's crazy? Other than Democrats? Anybody who is affiliated with the government of Canada. Would you like to see an example? Here is an official, you got to listen to this very closely. This is an official spokesperson for the government of Canada pointing out really what is the number one problem that Canada faces. Wait for it. Here we go.
Deal with the ongoing genocide of MMIW G2SLGBTQIA+. This is abhorrent.
Oh, my God.
That was like, we've gone from LGBT to LGBTQ to, how many letters were that? Who knows what the heck that is?
GTPGH, Gary Humble. Oh, by the way, I'm going to take the opportunity right now. Gary Humble,
I know it's coming.
No.
I know it's coming.
Actually, I'm going to be a little short and sweet in this. This is the last time you will hear the name Gary Humble come out of my mouth on the radio because he is irrelevant. His political career is dead. I have utterly defeated him. I'm taking my victory lap, ladies and gentlemen. It's over. It's done. Tennessee Stands is dead. They are irrelevant, and they are confined, therefore, to the ash heap of Tennessee political history, and I declare them excommunicado.
Well, there you go. That's what you call it.
This is the last time I'm going to say it.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do I not believe that?
Well, maybe, but, I'm trying now.
No, it's the last time I'm going to say. Okay, we'll see. Okay. Hey, speaking of people who say things that aren't always thought through, as Gary Humble was once, here is Lawrence O'Donnell.
That brilliant rescue was described by the Secretary of Defense and by General Dan Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, as a long-standing American military rule of never leaving anyone behind.
We leave no man behind.
That is, of course, the old-school version of the idea back when only men flew American military planes. General Dan Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, put it this way.
We leave no one behind.
The general knows, unlike Pete Hegseth, that could have been a woman they were trying to rescue, and it might be a woman the next time.
What a sanctimonious idiot that guy is.
I was going to say, was it a slow news day when he was filming that segment? But we all know that there's no such thing as a slow news day in American politics anymore. By the way, every time I watch Lawrence O'Donnell, and this is not a credit to him, I'm always remembered, he's one of the most smug human beings on the planet. But, he did play a character and made cameos in The West Wing, that old show from 98 to 2005 or something. And he was in flashbacks as the father of the President of the United States who beat his son.
Yeah, probably. It's kind of crazy. Hey, I'm doing this Live to 100 series, right?
Yeah.
And I've got an interview coming up with the guy that is the head of the company that makes these, full body scans company. Here's something. Gary Player is 90 years old, and I think he's competing at the Masters today. Isn't that something?
Mm-hmm.
That is something. He just made a long putt. That's really impressive.
I got one for you. Virginia Democrats are whining right now because over the redistricting, and the reason they're whining over the redistricting is there is a Republican PAC and another group, a C4 group, 501c4 group, that are fighting back against the Democrats' rigged gerrymander, because they're trying to make only one Republican district in the whole state. The PAC is using the words of Barack Obama, recent words against gerrymandering, as well as the Governor Abigail Spanberger, and the Democrats are highly worried that it's going to sway the voters to vote against the referendum on the gerrymandering.
Back to my Live to 100 theme, right? Omar Hamada's come in here, and once a month we talk about it, and he said something kind of profound, that no one should ever receive a first diagnosis of stage 4 cancer today because of early detection. You can get a stage 1 cancer diagnosis. This story from SciTech Daily, headline, scientists engineer, quote, tumor-eating bacteria that devour cancer from within. This is from the University of Waterloo in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. A research team led by the University of Waterloo is developing a new way to treat cancer by engineering bacteria that can consume tumors from the inside. Quote, bacteria spores enter the tumor, finding an environment where there are lots of nutrients and no oxygen, which this organism prefers, and so it starts eating those nutrients and growing in size, said Dr. Mark Acoyne, a chemical engineering professor at Waterloo. Now, on the one hand, this is really good potential. On the other hand, you know what I'm going to say. What could possibly go wrong?
This is true. By the way, my favorite thing about Omar Hamada is 7 years ago, he laid the whooping on Mary Kate Brown when they ran against each other for chairman of the Williamson County Republican Party. But, you know, I'm not petty at all.
You are not. No, has anyone ever suggested that you are petty?
Nobody's ever called me above it all, I will tell you that. Hey, I just, you know, there's many great men that I've seen and I emulate.
Yeah. Here's one last thing. As a former Catholic, Pope Leo, the first American pope, has lost the thread.
Yes.
You know, don't go after those evil mullahs in Iran, President Trump. You know, Pope Leo, stick to Sunday Mass. That's my advice to the Pope. And vote and cheer for the Cubs, but that's about it. Aaron Gulbinson, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, as always.
It's always a pleasure. All right, up next, Rob Carson. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock Central Time. The website, TennesseeStar.com. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. Thank you for joining us today.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com. Listen to Michael Patrick Leahy and make America great again.
FlatFeeNashville.com is a full-service real estate brokerage that charges homeowners a upfront flat fee of $999 to completely list, market, and sell your home. We are all about saving consumers money, saving that equity. Nobody should hire an agent and feel like when that agent walks in the door, that agent is more concerned about the down payment on their next Mercedes purchase versus saving the equity that those homeowners have worked hard for. I've spent my entire career in ensuring that the equity that people save and they put into their monthly mortgage every single month, as much of that as we possibly can goes back to them when they go to list and sell that home. The idea is to give homeowners the ability to really create generational wealth.
FlatFeeNashville.com, FlatFeeNashville.com.